And guess what? We're back with another vid. Today's vid, we got a new video reaction. And look, this is animated horror stories. I never did it, but my homeboy did. Got some, you know what I'm saying? Got some inspiration from that shit, you know what I mean? So, we're here doing this shit. Some girl working at a, Starbucks or some shit. We finna react to it, man. Let's get it.
I used to be in a really bad place.
Shit.
I had struggled with mental health issues from the time I was in middle school.
Crazy, man.
Mostly depression and anxiety. You know, the usual culprits. I had been working in a Starbucks as a barista. The Starbucks was actually inside the Target.
Alright, so it's a nigga talking for a girl. Alright.
You would think it would be bad, but it was pretty nice. Anyway, I dated this one guy who may have been an actual sociopath.
Oh, hell.
He had some serious problems.
Her
I haven't
nose looked like
spoken
some
to him
balls
in
or some
a few
shit.
years now, and I don't plan on reaching out anytime soon. Trust me, you'll see why in just a minute. He actually found me out
Should we
back
turn
one
off the
day.
lights for this
I was
one?
behind the store. I said I was going on break, but I really just needed to go and cry for a little while. I was feeling really overwhelmed and depressed.
What the? That nigga scared the fuck out of me. Alright, bro. Hell no, dog. That's another thing, bro. I don't understand why people be trying to cry in public. Why are you crying in public? Especially the motherfuckers that be like recording themselves crying and shit. Why are you crying? Like, no. Why are you crying on the internet? That's one thing. I don't get that shit. That shit is actually
Found me out back one day. I was behind the store. I said I was going on break, but I really just needed to go and cry for a little while.
You wasted your whole break.
I was feeling really overwhelmed and depressed.
Oh, well,
I just didn't have anything to look forward to in my life at that time.
Yeah.
I remember looking up at him. I could barely see him through the tears in my eyes.
Hell no.
He started talking to me, and he really comforted me. I told him that I thought about ending my life and was severely depressed.
Bro, depression
at the time,
is
I thought he was...
Bro, depression, oh my god. That shit fucks people up bad. Like, depression is so serious, nigga.
just a really sympathetic person, willing to help someone down on their luck. But now I know the truth. He saw a struggling person who would be easy to abuse, and that's exactly what he did to me.
Wow.
I vividly remember him wiping my tears away,
That's
right off
crazy.
of my cheek. I was so touched, and his name was Mike.
Mike.
He really got me.
Mike.
It wasn't long
The nigga
before
name
we
is
had
Mike.
exchanged numbers and started dating. It was really great at first. That honeymoon part of a relationship was so great. But the honeymoon phase doesn't
See,
last
that's the
forever.
thing, bro. She's so, like, her mindset right now, she's all the way at the bottom. So she's literally, like, taking anybody. She's taking any nigga, bro. This nigga could be homeless in a bum. She still gonna take him because what? He's showing her attention and shit. Pretty much, bro, because what? She's depressed and shit. This nigga comfort her. So she was like, oh shit, oh. Now, you
And
dealing
when I
with a
started to
psychopath.
see him for who he really was,
Now it's over.
I got afraid. I noticed that he wore a mask, and I don't mean like a costume. He would pretend to be someone that he wasn't. He literally faked a personality. There were a few times that I was at his apartment and he would just start acting really weird.
What the fuck?
It was like his true self came out. And it was
See?
horrifying.
Look.
He was so
That's
mean
what
that I
happened.
honestly can't
She's
even
taking
put it into
anyone.
words.
She's taking anybody.
He really did enjoy making me suffer. I remember him telling me that I wasn't good enough and that I needed to lose weight and read more and work harder and a million other things.
Hell no.
He told me everyone in my life thought that I was pathetic. He said so many things
GGs.
like that, and I honestly couldn't
GGs,
stand
he's
it.
venting.
It was like he found that negative voice in the back of my head and put it on speaker. The worst I ever felt about myself was when I was with him, and I totally let it all happen. Because no matter how mean he ever was to me, a part of me secretly believed that he would be the only person to ever be with me.
See?
That I wasn't
Bro,
worth any-
look, bro. See, no, bro. Hell no, bro. You can find someone way better. You can find someone way better. Because this nigga, you gonna settle for this nigga? Come on now. You gonna settle for this nigga? This nigga is a crazy person, bro.
one better than him.
Anybody could have just
It was a
come
really
for you and
dark
shit.
time. It wasn't too long into our relationship that he convinced me to move in with him.
You
Actually,
moved
in a nice
in?
place, but
See, no.
It
Hell
was
no.
kind of far from my job and my parents.
You gonna trust a nigga that's like, you gonna trust someone that's posted like this? Posted up like this, bro. hunchback, hands in pockets 24/7. Big ass shoes, no.
Because of the move, I had to drive almost half an hour one way to Starbucks. Of course, he didn't care. He never did about things like that.
Half an hour?
He gradually isolated me from everyone in my life. He did it one by one. He started with some of my friends, and I might mention that I wasn't very close to them to begin with. But any contact with anyone other than him was a threat. So he would tell me that so-and-so person that I speak to once in a while actually hates me. But sometimes he was more abrasive about it. There was one time when he grabbed my phone right out of my hand and blocked my coworker's phone number.
And he
was really threatening about it too. I knew that if I ever unblocked him, that he might actually do something to me. Things started escalating to the point that even I recognized that they were out of control. I knew if things continued down this path, he was going to kill me or I was going to end up taking my own.
So now that's when you click in, right? This is when you supposed to be like hey, make a fake report or some shit, bitch. Call the cops on this nigga. Or do something. You ain't got nobody. You ain't got no family member. You ain't got no brothers or nothing. Like, this nigga's a crazy nigga, bro. And I feel bad for her. Look at her. I feel bad, dog.
It really was that bad.
Was he finna... is he finna... Yo, he's charging up a mean one. What the fuck?
I was going to end up taking my own life. It really was that bad. I won't bore you with every little horrible story, but he broke my stuff, cheated on me. He even joked about the fact that he cheated on me. Said I should be happy he's with me at all when there are so many other great women out there, and all kinds of stuff like that. The day I realized that I had to get out was really important.
Crazy part is...
I didn't really have anywhere to go.
Crazy part is, girls still be staying with the same nigga that be beating her ass up, fucking cheating on her, all type of shit. Because what? He showed a certain kind of like attention to you and shit? A special kind of attention? No, bitch. Trash out of there. He's gonna kill you.
Mike basically forced me to break off contact with everyone, and he regularly checked my phone to make sure I wasn't speaking with someone who I wasn't supposed to. I reached out to my mom while I was at work, borrowed one of my coworkers' phones and gave her a call.
Oh, shit.
It was really nice to hear her voice. I explained as much of the situation as I could, and she said she completely understood and that she was more than happy to let me move back home.
Yeah!
That was a really touching moment for me. I walked out that night because Mike was out. I was able to pack my stuff and leave without ever having to say anything.
Oh my god.
He probably would have gotten me to stay somehow. Said the right words. Made me feel like everything was going to be okay. The way he always does. He didn't appreciate the fact that I was gone. He was mad. He started showing up at my job a few times a week.
Oh, shit.
He would always try to talk to me. Convince me that things could get better. He said that he would change and be nicer to me.
See, look, they always say that shit.
I knew he just wanted me back under his thumb.
They always say that shit, bruh. And they be believing in this shit.
And that seemed to work for a little while. It didn't stop him.
Yo, bro, you gotta stop, bro. At one point, you gotta, hey, you need, what's that shit called? Shit, you need a restraining order on this nigga, bro. Cause he's steady charging up the mean ones. Look at his hair. Look at his hair.
For a little while. It didn't stop him. There was no way that I was going with him again. This is where things get crazy, though. He really wanted me back. He showed up at my work one day. I actually happened to be on break. I was walking around Target and just killing time, honestly. As I was walking, I saw him looking through some of the glass near the Starbucks section of the store. My heart dropped.
Fuck?
He looked livid. Like really worked up.
No, on some real shit. I've never been to a Starbucks where it's only one employee. No, that never happened. Where's your coworkers? Where the fuck is your coworkers?
Violently kind of mad. I stopped and just stood there for a moment. I didn't know what to do. He turned around and saw me, and we made eye contact.
Oh, shit.
And the only thing I could think to do was run. My body spun around faster than I ever had before.
You're done. Anybody that runs like this, you're done. You're getting caught every single time. Every single time. Nobody,
could think to do was run.
I could tell you have my
body spun around faster than I ever had before. I ran as fast as I could in the opposite direction, and I knew that he was chasing me.
He's finna catch your ass.
It was actually weird how I got out of the situation. There is an employee door that you need a card key to
Where's
get through.
the coworkers, bro?
The Starbucks employees had them too for some reason.
How big is this Starbucks?
I think
She
there was
just
a
ran
glitch
a
in the
whole
system,
mile.
but either way, I was far away enough from him that I got through it and closed the door behind me. One of the Target employees asked me if I was okay.
Oh, shit.
As bad as the situation was, I honestly didn't want to make a scene. I told him I was fine and just needed a minute to take a break.
Hey, first thing you should have done was, there's a crazy ass nigga chasing me right now. He's trying to kill me. That's the first thing you should have said.
I sat there for about 15 minutes and left. Mike was gone, and that was the last time I saw him. I'm not sure why he hasn't contacted me since. I'm just glad he hasn't, though. He was responsible for the worst part of my life.
Holy shit.
And honestly, I'm lucky to have gotten out of that situation alive.
See?
Wherever he is.
Oh my god.
He's just doing the same thing.
Oh shit. He's just out here charging up the mean ones and punching. Bro, yo, nah. That is so crazy.
I had a seasonal job at Target last year. Every year they bring in new people during the seasonal times to help with all of the chaos of this pending season. It's pretty standard. Just about everyone was doing this. It just happened by chance that I was doing it at Target. I think it's actually funny. I don't think
Is this the same girl or what? Is this a new story? Because it says 35 animated horror stories and shit.
I've ever actually been to Target until that job. But anyway, it was actually a night shift position. I would come in and start working at around 4 a.m.
Hold on.
And that was one of the crucial times to get stocked up on stuff for the big shopping rush that day.
If it's a new story, on it.
Now, the way we did it...
Target girl, new work employee. Damn, it's always
we would get a shipment off of a truck, and all the supplies would go into the back. We did that as fast as possible so the truck driver could get on with his next stop. Those guys were always in a rush. And once we got the stuff in the back, it was up to
the job's always in the fucking woods? Like, where are you at?
Team to get it all organized and stocked. And that was all fine and dandy, pretty standard procedure. Now, there was normally a good number of people who worked this shift with me. Normally between 4 and 5 of us.
We got Bob and
managers
shit.
Somewhere else doing whatever else managers do, but here was the situation. The layout of the store was a little weird. We had so much room in the warehouse area for all the supplies, but sometimes it would be too much.
I can't work at no store,
drastically overflowing. And we had this other room to put some of the stuff we just couldn't fit anywhere else. It was a weird situation because that overflow room was not very big. I think it used to be someone's office. I don't know what happened there, and I don't really care either. That was the job. It was a true nightmare to organize the stuff in that overflow room. It was a really tight working space because it would normally be 2 people in there doing that, and the rest of the team would be outside. This room was kind of secluded as well. It was just kind of out of the way and didn't make sense to be a storage spot.
I'm working second.
Again, not my decision, just what I was told to do. It was one of these early mornings that I had to work in that overflow room with a guy I didn't know that well. He never said very much, and he looked a little sketchy. I'd actually seen him walk off of the premises a few times after getting a text message. That was really weird. It was never for very long either.
That's a phone, my nigga?
It was like he got a text message and went outside to take a smoke break or something. No one ever said anything, though, so he just continued to do it.
We always have some nigga like this at the job and shit, like...
Us really
we just
cared
stay
that
away
much.
from that nigga, bro.
I didn't mention we came in at 4 in the morning, right? Well, this one morning that we were working in the overflow room, something a little strange happened. He got a text message and went outside like usual. I asked him where he was going, and he just said he'll be right back.
Why are you in his business?
He left.
Why? That's the first thing you fucked up at. Why are you in his business? He is chilling by himself, working by himself, not worried about nobody else, like you should do. You over here talk about you mean mugging the nigga and shit. Talk about some. Where are you going? Is it your concern, bit? Like what the fuck?
Before I could say anything else, but I noticed he dropped something as he went out. It fell on the floor, and I went over to pick it up.
Yeah, nah, stay away from this nigga. This nigga dropping marbles and shit. Yeah,
I can tell you exactly what it was, but it looked like a clear Ziploc bag of herbs.
Yeah.
Honestly, they probably weren't herbs at all, but
that
being
nigga is
really
one of those.
Tired and overworked, I assumed he was a gardener and he was carrying his herbs around. I know how stupid it sounds. I have a lot of friends that are really into gardening, and I guess I just assumed the best case scenario.
Man.
When he came back, he seemed like he was in a rush.
Oh,
he was looking around frantically. I told him he dropped his herbs. I pointed to them on a table in the room, and that was when he got really aggressive with me. He asked me if I thought it was funny, and that was when it dawned on me that he wasn't walking around with lavender in his pocket all day. It also dawned on me that he was probably selling while he was working this shift.
Oh,
that would explain why he would randomly go out.
It's making sense now. He's getting late text messages and shit, and he said he going outside. It's making sense now.
Outside every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
He threatened to kill me if I said anything to anyone.
What the fuck? What is wrong with niggas?
I was honestly scared to death.
Is that like the first thing you gotta do?
Looking back, I probably should have told my manager and called the police right then.
Yeah.
But I never really had to deal with anyone that was a criminal or anything of that sort. Of course, I didn't say anything to anyone, but now every time that I saw him, he gave me a weird look. We'll just call him David for anonymity's sake.
Yo, she's
That wasn't his real name, but it'll work.
She have all rights, but she's
Over the next 2 or 3 weeks, I started to observe David a little more closely.
His name is
I paid a lot more attention to what he was doing and what he was looking at and how he was behaving. And after that time, I realized a few things about him. Firstly, he was definitely a drug user himself.
Hell yeah.
I couldn't tell you what, but my guess is that it was something pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
He would talk to himself like a crazy guy once in a while, and other times he would just completely zone out like he was in a different planet. The other thing that I noticed about him was that he was very unstable. Sometimes he would get really upset over
How is niggas like this working at Target? Like how? How are you hired? How did you get hired, my nigga?
Stuff. There was one time he screamed at the top of his lungs because his shoe was untied, and other ridiculous things like that.
Yeah, bro.
Now, while all of this was going on, I was still living my life. I still went for runs at the local park, and I made YouTube videos in my free time, just for fun.
Shit.
I tried to forget about the whole situation with David. That was until I saw David at the park where I always ran. He was sitting on the bench, staring at me dead on. I stopped mid-step. That was the scariest realization ever, because it meant that he was stopped.
Wait, is it just her and him? Like working at this same shift or something? Like what is happening?
I didn't know what his intentions were. I didn't know how long he'd been doing it or why. I just knew that I was in danger.
Man.
I kept running and played it off like I didn't notice him.
Well, I would have quit this job so quick, nigga.
How could I not?
I ain't got time for that.
Then there was one morning where it all went down. I showed up a little earlier than usual. I was always on early bird and I just hated being late. I was there about an hour before my shift started. Must have been about 3 or so. I was chilling in the parking lot listening to a podcast on my phone, and that was when I noticed someone pull up behind me. I parked kind of far away from the store to not take up parking for the customers throughout the day.
Yeah.
I just thought it was unusual for someone to park so close to me when there were spots everywhere else.
It's that nigga David.
My heart sank. The person behind me turned on their brights, and that was when I knew it was David.
Oh my
fight or flight kicked in. I turned my car off and sprinted to the store as fast as I possibly could. I knew the employee would be open and I would be able to get to safety there. David started driving after me, like trying to run me over. He probably would have gotten to me too, but there was the spot where it was a line of trees in the parking lot. I ran to the other side of the trees when I noticed that he was driving and he couldn't really do anything after that. I got inside and screamed that I needed help. Surprisingly enough, my manager was there.
Oh, shit.
I explained the situation to her and we called the police. She locked the employee entrance and we waited until the police gave us the okay. Oh my goodness,
that's a dub. Holy shit.
David had booked it. The cops couldn't find him either. He wasn't at his apartment.
Like, there's no way.
Apparently, he gave the wrong address when he applied to work
No other worker
I guess
manager
they don't check the seasonal workers very thoroughly at Target.
No.
Hopefully they do now. And that was the story of how I almost got messed up working at Target last year. And if you're wondering,
hey, at this point, bitch, just stop working. Like, at this point, stop working. Because your ass, man, she getting fucked up at every fucking store. Bruh, see, I feel bad for females because some females be going through that shit. With Davids and Bobs and shit. Fucking, you gotta deal with sexual harassment and shit. It's a lot of weird shit. I feel bad for y'all. But hey, man, That's it, little nigga. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all new subscribe to the kid. We at 8:36. If y'all want more of this, hit the like button or just comment. You know what I mean? And I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.